Good evening, everyone. I'm Reverend Jorge from Creative Living Fellowship in Phoenix, Arizona. And this 30 minutes is just a Monday practice with me, where we explored and practicing different types of spiritual practice who help us to discover some or many of them that help us to, during the day, to back to that place where we just learn and relearn and remember that we are one. This time is a precious time for me, and I'm very grateful for see all of you entering right now into the room. Reverend Sherry, good to see you. Sharon and Dev, good to see you. As I said, this space is sponsored and supported by Creative Living Fellowship in Phoenix, Arizona. If you want to know more about us, please visit our website, creativelivingfellowship.com. You will find plenty of opportunities to participate, and all of you are invited to Sunday service. Monday practice. This whole month we have been frame it through one practice called No Problem. That is basically a practice who help us to break that self-identity that we have with that we would call personal belief systems. Some call it the ego. In the Buddhist tradition, is the small self. And basically is that identity that limit us in many, many, many ways. So we have been practicing during the month, so that we learn that this practice can be done at any time, any moment, and it's called No Problem because the ego or this small self, or this system that we believe make us believe that we are the responsible, that we have to be in control, that we need to resolve all the problems. And ultimate is actually the opposite. It's just to remember to come back to ourselves, to come back to our real identity, the big self, the higher self. And from that real self, respond to whatever life is showing us. So that's been the practice. Last Sunday, we have a guest speaker called John Stranger. He did a wonderful talk on the other side of growth, which is actually relates very beautiful with the theme of the month as being keep their eyes on the prize, which the prize has always been the consciousness of God. That place that we call it the higher consciousness, the Christ consciousness, the Buddha consciousness, but basically it's that union with God. So John Stringer in the other side of the growth, he was saying that we always get somehow out and with ideas that if this will be beautiful and will be perfect, but we sometimes forget the pain, the growing pain involved on that. And that's where a spiritual practice enter, because pain is there, but suffering is optional, say that the Buddhist tradition. So what it means say is that we have the option of free will to choose what is, from where are we going to observe the world, observe ourselves, to look at the world, and to respond to the world. So normally we do it through or the small self or egos, or what I call the system of pain and sorrow. where this basically is ourselves separated individually, fighting for work, for life, and or surviving, and striving or surviving basically, versus the other option is just to return to ourselves, to calm, to center ourselves, and to remember who we are, which is actually bigger than any idea that we have. We have these beautiful bodies that is expression of God, but we are beyond of that. We have these all life situations, and we are bigger than that. So that is the practice that brings us any practice, meditation, mantras, affirmations, this practice of just be aware that we don't have problems, and any other practice. So when John Stringer said that the other side of the growth is that if we need to put our work, we need to put more than the work is our effort, because that means so like driving again and do something to do we back again into the old system. It's just to the trust, to know that during this process situations going to show up happy and joyful and painful, but we have the choice. And that's the spiritual practice, is to choose to that I'm going to stop, maybe breathe, and maybe remember that I am bigger than anything, than everything. So where are we going to time? Perfect. So if you are new to this channel, please subscribe and be part of our community. If you are part of the community, please give a thumbs up to this video and leave a comment afterwards if you are watching this in a stream after. So that will help us to spread our message, to spread our practices, and to reach more people around the internet world right now. So let's keep ourselves focused on to center in the our eyes and the prize. That's the word. And remember that through our process of growth, we have the power to choose to be in the separated state and pain and sorrow, or in the state with God and union and reaffirming life and joy and a thoroughly plenty of life. So as I said, we are doing we have been doing the practice of no problem, which is a mindfulness Buddhist tradition that basically is to break that old system, the ego system, they call it ego system, of thoughts, so that we think that we need to do things, that we need to fight for the world, that we need to, instead of rest in the eyes and the arms of God. And from there is where the answers show up. So this practice is basic. Not necessarily you need to close your eyes, you need to go to any place. You just can do it in your mind, because it's a bunch of questions. It's just questions to bring you back into who you are. So the practice is called no problem. Let me put it over there. No problem. Why is not showing? Show. Okay, it's showing. So basically, it's always when we are feeling overwhelmed, when we are full of thoughts and ideas, and again feeling separated, we just go back, we take a deep breath, and we start asking ourselves, who are this being if there is no problems? What remains if there is no problems? Who is the being that is beyond of these problems? And so on and so on. So we are in the perfect time to start a practice. So we're going to do the practice, and then I'm going to ask you how you feel, if you felt that connection with the spirit, if it's easy for you to return to the sense of how big, how limitless, how whole we are, and that's what we are going to do. So get comfortable. There's nothing wrong with it comfortable. You can close your eyes or open your eyes. And just let's start with a deep breath. Perfect. Another deep breath. Another deep breath. So just be here in this moment and ask yourself, what is here right now if there is problems to solve? Be aware that here right now there is nothing to solve. There is no problems to solve. Take a deep breath and ask the question to yourself. What is here now if there is no problem to solve? That's your real self. That's your real all. Keep yourself resting and remaining in this presence that is start to fulfill all the space, to be out from your body to the world. And ask yourself again, what is here now if there is nothing to any problem to solve? Who is the one who remains here when there is no problems to solve, where there is no attachments or situations to judge or evaluate? What is? What is that remains? More than remains, what is that that's always present? Feel it. Rest. Ask yourself, what is that aware? Aware of the problems, aware of yourself, aware of your body, aware of your story. Who is that? That's the real you. That's the real us. Ask yourself, what is here when there is no problems to solve? Take a deep breath. And another question may be, what is here when there is nowhere to go or nothing to do? What is that feeling, that union, that sensation that is always present, that remains outside of every problem, every situation, every condition? When we don't have nothing to do, that's a real self. That's a real us. What is? What is that presence that embrace us, that we are, where we don't have to explain or to remember or to argue over our past? What is that sense of us? No worry or future to plan, is here right now. What is here just now, beyond of everything that we are? What is? What is that we are? There is no separated, it's actually all of us. It's everything of us here right now. What is? That being that I feel, that is bigger than myself, that is beyond my body, that is beyond my situations, that is beyond of my being, of that lens, of that little ego, of that little self. Rest in the peace, in the joy, that awareness of the truly self, your higher self brings. This is the real self from where we always respond, from where we always are guided, are taken from our hands. This is our real self. So who is that? When there is no problem to solve, who is, or what is? When there is nothing to do or to have. Rest in that space. Rest in that being. Rest in your real self. Take a deep breath and smile with a gratitude, with a thank you. Because we are practicing to be aware of ourselves, our real self, that is beyond of our stories, or future plans, or ideas of our bodies, or ideas of life, is bigger and beautiful, perfect. And now I see there is some friends who entered. Hi Jeannie, hi Rhonda. And now that we are in this moment, in this place where we are with the eyes of the prize, where we can and be at peace despite of the growing pains of the life pains, because we can choose to be one with God. We can choose to respond from God, through God, and as God. So, my friends, share in the chat how you feel right now. What is that feeling of being one with God, to recognizing God? For me, it's a sense of tickling in my body, peace, and a big smile. That's what it brings me so much joy. So tell me how you feel this unity, how you can retake this unity in any moment of your day, tomorrow or later, and remember that you are one with God. Letting go of your ego identity and allow God to take over you. Deb, Robin Sherry, Jeannie, Sharon, Rhonda, thumbs up, a heart. I feel peaceful, calm, and at the same time expansive and powerful. Expansive. That's the word I love. Yeah, calm and peace. That's the state of the natural state of us when we are one with God. Peace. Oh, I love that again. Wasteless. Yes. I bring this with my wait. Well, on Wednesday you had to do your practice, Ginny. This is a practice for every day, every moment. Don't let every problem, remember, there is no problem. Why did I stay here when there is no problems? Contentment. Yeah. Love that word. Yes. Contentment. That's so embracing many things. Peace, plenty, joy. Wow. Love it. I'm glad to read all of you on this. This practice has been actually very powerful for me during these last 2 weeks. I've been recovering from a flu, so it's always been like there is no problem to resolve, just God and trust and try to don't fix everything. Contentment. I gave with that. And now that Reverend Sherry shared, I just want to spread the how happy and honored feel to work with Reverend Sherry. Today was her escape the word again. Her commitment to her own work as a minister. Her ordination is the word, and it was a beautiful ceremony. We full of love and full of an expansive And yes, ordination. Thank you. An expansive um, energy and a wonderful time. You've always ordinations and this say yes is a dedication. It's like getting married, all that, or or say to God, yes, this is my devotion. Is what I always love from all of us who decide that. And we, as a Reverend Sherry, we have our ordinations where we say, yes, this is my path. But every one of us has a certain call. And maybe we don't have a ceremony, but a spiritual practice is a way when we to respond to God, to say, yes, this is my devotion, which means practice. This is my devotion, which means relationship. And I'm very, very honored to experience and to have experienced the ordination of Reverend Sherry this morning. It was super sweet. It reminded us the importance to say yes to God and yes to a sacred word and to a sacred work and a sacred path. And this should be an example, not just for other ministers and practitioners and religious science, but at time too, also for every one of us. Not necessarily if you are a average Joe or average Mary, you have also a call. And it's true spiritual practices is when you dedicate yourself at least 1 hour, 20 minutes to meditate, to prayer, to remember God. And in the midst of the pain of growth is there. And that's why we are here. I'm very honored and I'm very thankful for this. And next Monday, we have a new theme of the month and new topics and new things. We will see what God's download to me for practices for related about that. And as I said, we are a Creative Living Fellowship in Phoenix, Arizona. And if you feel that this serves you and you want to support CLF, I really invite you to use the systems that you can support us through our PayPal account, or it's very fancy here. We can use also our text system to using our cell phones by texting the number that is here in the chat, so you can donate and follow the instructions. I'm very happy. I'm very happy today. I've been inspired all day since this morning. So hopefully all of you have a wonderful night. And this union with God is still and remain all night with you. And tomorrow, just remember yourself. Who is this one when there is no problems to resolve? Who is this one who is aware of the beauty and the union and the love? And that's you. That's me. That's all of us. So thank you for a wonderful day, a wonderful time for practice. And I think we are set up. Any words? Thank you, Rhonda. Thank you, Reverend Sherry. Thank you, Jeannie. And I see you next Monday. Bye.